All
Yep.
right, what's up, everybody? So today we got Chris from Island Endemics. God, that's hard to say. And
It,
my boy
it
Ant here from Cold Blooded. What's going on, people?
What's
what's
up,
up,
guys?
guys? How's it going?
Going.
Man, yeah, man. This was a hell of a day for me coming back from spring break. I got so many fucking phone calls on my for work. All my managers was like, Jason, I need your help. Jason, I need your help. How do you do this? I was like, did you check your emails? No, that's why you need help. Oh, man, uh, shit, man. So how was y'all day?
Sure, man.
Yeah,
Work, work,
I
building,
feel that.
building.
Yeah. All
Yep.
right. So, Chris,
Man,
go ahead. Let's go ahead and do what's your intro to the hobby? What first got you going into this thing?
Let's see. I guess when I was like a kid, my cousin got an iguana, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, I didn't know you could have one of these, and like, so that got the wheels turning, and then maybe like 10, 11, 12, I started with crested geckos, viper geckos. I kept some sand boas, which are really cool, and then did that up until like college, and then I got out of the hobby for a while, and then just focused on working and all that shit. And then in right around COVID time, I was like, I'm gonna build a tank. Like, let's get back into it. So I started with some gargoyles, got some chameleon geckos. Now I got some Europlatus ebanawi, some Cophotis dumbara, and the Scorpion Tails Pristurus carteri.
All
And
right.
yeah,
Well,
that's it. I think that's everything. Yeah, that's everything.
beautiful collection.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
for
got
real,
some cool
man. Every
shit.
time I look at every time I look at your page, man, yeah, this dude doing some standing stuff. I love your
I
pages.
like
Your
the
pages
weird.
look awesome.
Thank you, man. Yeah, that's. I really got into the tanks and shit, and just planting them out, and they run themselves pretty much. Low maintenance. Trying to recreate their little niche and see,
Yeah,
just try and keep it going.
that's stuff right there. So what made you decide to get into the car line? Like damn, what made you want to go
I
ahead and start working with
saw
those?
it was Frank Payne's video on that on them, and I was like, oh, these things are weird. And then I saw there was a pair at a local shop, and I'm still mad I didn't buy them. Someone bought them, but eventually I got a male, I got a female. That was around like last year. So I had them just about a little over a year. I lost
Yeah,
my female actually this over the winter, but got one baby
that's
from her. Yeah, I think she got egg bound. It was like she was looked like she was getting ready to lay. Everything was cool, and then she dropped. So
yeah.
sucked. I got
That's funny.
six eggs out of her. None of them, only one hatched. Everything else went bad. I don't know if they looked fertile, like when they had veins and stuff, but they all just one by one went bad. But so
Yeah.
still a work in progress for sure.
Those eggs. Do you incubate them the same? I mean, they can't be, right? They can't. How would you incubate those?
I I did pretty much what Frank Payne did. He put them in like little milk container caps, like bottle caps, with dry sand in like another container with moist sand. And like I did mine around 80 degrees, and then it was about 100 and change days for the egg to hatch. So like a
Wow.
fairly long time, but who
Different.
knows, man? That was the first shot, so it's always weird the first time.
Yeah.
You never know what's
You
gonna
gonna
happen.
try to you gonna try to up that your degrees a little bit?
I know my buddy
So,
Brian, he's been real successful with them, and he got about 60 eggs this year. He's got a pretty decent group. Yeah,
damn.
so I think he said he was doing 85 just to try and see, like, temperature
Yeah.
dependent, if he gets more
Yeah.
females, males, whatever. So we'll see what happens.
Okay.
But yeah, usually around 80, 85 is kind of, from what I've been told, the sweet spot. So
Okay.
we'll see what
Yeah, that's
happens.
stuff. So where do they come from in the world? Like, where do they like?
So
What is their habitat?
So they come from like coastal deserts in Oman, Yemen, and it looks like they go up a little. There's like around, I think it's Qatar over there, but from I looked on
Hmm.
INAT and they're pretty much that whole Arabian Peninsula, like southern area. So it's like they do need some humidity from what I've been told, and I don't really know. I'm no expert, I'm just fucking around, but
Yeah.
trying to do the best I can, just checking out like all their climate data and shit like that, and they like it pretty hot, it's hot as hell over
Yeah.
there. It's so I give them a good hot spot, and the ambient around the tanks are usually anywhere between high 70s to mid 80s, and then the hot spot is around 100 and change. And then there's all sorts of little like humid areas, different micro. I try and give them a lot of choices,
Okay.
So you're obviously
Nice.
using.
Yeah, I got a VivTech, the Desert VivTech, the LED one. I've been using those. I use the regular T5 ones too, but I just right
How do
now
you
I
like
happen to. I
the
like them so far. So far, so good, man. I have.
thinking about?
What do I have? They apparently last long, so
That's what
Yeah, we're off
that's
like
why I
four
got into
years.
them. That's what,
that's
yeah. I think they have rated the warranty is like 3 years or something like that, which is pretty cool. So
that's
I got the one desert bulb, and then I got a couple of the crepuscular, like the low wattage or whatever. I got those on the Ebanawi and the chameleon geckos, and then the Cofotis I have the regular 5.0 T5 bulbs on them.
Yeah,
nice.
I got one of those VidTech bulbs. I had it on the Chauffeurs, but they weren't really trying to bask under it. I don't think it was strong enough for them. So I
They
ended up
don't
moving
seem like
it
they're
to
that bright. Like I know,
yeah,
like mine get right under it. Like the chameleon geckos like it, and the scorpion tails they seem to enjoy it. Like they get right
yeah.
underneath it.
I probably need to get that desert one if I want to do it on my Chauffeurs next time.
Yeah,
But I put it in
I
my Tuies
definitely.
tank.
I hear
I put it
phenomenal.
in my Tuies tank. Yeah, and like I see my Tuies all the time basking on that light because, like you said, it's like a direct light. It doesn't spread, so they
Yeah,
know
it's
where to
just
go,
like
and they
one
always
little
go there.
spot. Yeah,
Yeah,
but I
How
wish
much?
they
but
made
I've
like
noticed
a
my Tuies.
bar.
How much do those
I
LED?
think
What's that?
How much do those LED UVB bulbs run?
I think they were like 70-ish, something in that ballpark. 70 to
they're
80, which
between
is
yeah, $70 to
it's not
$80.
crazy. It's not everything's fucking $80 now. So like,
Yeah,
it's just the way it is. The
yeah. But
but
if you think
they
about it, no, that $80, that's four
Pretty.
years to buy
yeah, I mean, I've had
20 bucks.
the chameleon gecko light I've had for a solid 2 years, I think already. I got it when they first
Yeah,
came out, like within a month or
yeah.
two, and it's I don't have a meter, which I need to get one of those UV meters, but
Those
those things are like
those are
300 bucks too. Yeah,
expensive.
so they get you.
Yeah. All right. So, all right. So for your breeding pair or just your setup in general, how are you setting them up? What was the whole landscape you were doing with that?
So I got what is it? It's the 18, I think. The Exoterra 1818. It might be the 1812. It's not as tall, which I
Okay.
probably
Yeah.
would like to do something maybe a little bit bigger because they will climb. Like he climbs the background
Mm.
and like logs and shit. So they will climb stuff. So a little
Yeah.
height would probably be cool. But I just give him a lot of like I got some flat rocks, slate, just regular slate rocks, some cork chunks, some branches. Then try and give them little caves and shit, like in between the
Mhm.
rocks and cork. Keep a little humidity area for them because
Well,
again
so
they
what?
do
Yeah.
come from a coastal area, so they get a good amount of fog, I would bet.
Mm. What are you using for a substrate?
So
It's sand and like cocoa mix and
Yeah.
potting soil. It's mostly sand.
okay.
It's probably like 2 to 1,
Nice.
but I'm still kind of playing
Hmm.
around with it. And I feel like it
Yeah.
still doesn't hold enough humidity.
Have you ever thought about any of that stuff they make for tortoises? It's like I think Zilla makes it. It's like a cave
Oh,
dweller, or
yes, I know. Yeah, I forget what it's called, but yeah, that
yeah.
would be something. I'm
They make,
looking
when
into redoing the
hey,
tanks
I'm thinking, I'm like,
right
wow,
now.
do it. I think I would run something like that, man. When I watched the second video you sent me, Jay, and he was catching them and stuff in Oman.
Mhm.
Automatically, my thing, same as you do. When I get an animal, it's more the area the species is from You know, like I want to
That's
recreate
my
that.
whole that's my whole interest, bro.
Love
Like
it,
it's
love it, love it.
that's
You know,
the shit, you know.
build
It's like all the
those.
weird islands and shit. Like all that
Yep,
shit blows my mind, you know.
yep,
Like it's so
Yeah,
cool,
for real.
you
awesome.
know. But yeah, I was thinking probably more rocky from more like all the pictures I see online of like in the wild. It's rocks and all sorts of
Hmm.
little outcrops and
Yeah,
shit. So it looks like they're not like a sand desert, you know. It's not like dunes from what
yeah,
the pictures look like and on the Google
yeah.
Earths
Not
and
like a
everything.
Cinnabacillus or anything like that.
Yeah, so it's actually the dude on what is it, Dylan at the Animals and Home podcast. He had that
Yeah.
guy that keeps horn lizards, and then that guy
Oh,
got
okay.
me thinking. You know, it was an awesome episode. He does crazy shit with the ant feeders and all sorts of stuff. It's really cool. So that got me thinking. Like, I definitely need to do some more work on their setup and try and perfect the
Yeah.
whole
Learn
setup. You know, it's working. You know, but I got them to breed, but it's not. I don't think it's zeroed in yet. You know.
a lot of
No.
species, though,
No.
not for nothing, but geckos in general, through my experience, that they have kind of off first seasons. You know, if you're dealing
Oh,
with
for
a,
sure. Yeah.
you know, so it's may not necessarily be something, you know, something you did. I wouldn't be so hard on yourself. You know, obviously be, you know, stay observant. You know, watch what you're doing. You know what you're doing, dude. But it could very
Oh, yeah.
well
It's it's
fall.
always you just kind of watch and see. You know, that's really all you can do. It's
Absolutely,
just
best
notice
way.
little things. You know, it's like when the female passed, everything seemed normal. I'm like, did I miss? What did I miss? I don't know. You know, so keeping got to keep a better eye out. I'm sure there was something I missed, but
Mm.
or shit
Something.
happens. They are also just animals, and you never
Uh-huh.
know.
Yeah, like I said, I couldn't tell. Like my female was doing her normal thing. Like I said, when she was getting like when my female was getting ready to lay all the time, she would get a little sluggish. Like she's like, "All right, I'm trying to push this out and everything," but this time it just didn't happen. She got egg bound, and
Yeah,
like
that's
she's
exactly
passed
what
away.
I think happened. Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
yeah.
sucks, but it's part of the.
We just got it's part of the hobby. You know, we got to make sure we're observing our stuff. You know, constantly. If we notice something, gotta try to do something about it. But
How
Yeah,
much
man.
do you typically cost for if you were just going to go grab a scorpion gecko? What would like a single? Do males cost more than females? Do
I've seen
was like
anywhere between like 250-ish to 350, and then there's that one on Morph Market right now that's $700 for a female locality-ish thing. Who knows? But yeah,
yeah,
so usually around 300-ish, low 250, 300.
people to get
yeah.
to? It's a rare species, but I think that price point doesn't make it too elite. You know, people
Yeah,
go
it's
drop
like
Yeah.
right in the sweet spot where
price.
it's like you're not fucking around because it's like you're
You
gonna
know,
drop 300 bills on a gecko. You're putting
there.
some sort of research into it, you
That's
know.
a nice good price point.
Yeah,
You know, if they get too low, people
Yeah, it's like it's
feel
a throw.
like
Like I hate that term, but
disposable
it's a
animals, you know, disposable pets. You know,
right. Yeah,
yeah,
that keeps somebody on point. You know,
yeah.
that's good.
yeah. They're a lot of fun. They're awesome. They're
So
weird little lizards.
I know we had this conversation before, but have you talked to anybody that are trying to breed for like color, like those reds? Are they trying to make those reds pop out more, or is it they're blue and red, or
They're
what's the
like
other color on?
grayish orange little stripes on the side, mainly on
Yeah.
the males. It seems to be that the males are more
Okay.
colorful, but
Yeah.
that's just
Are
from the
they?
ones I've seen, which I've only seen like
Have you
five in person. You know,
have you talked to anybody that's trying to do that, like
not
trying to make
really.
those
No,
color pop?
I I think most of the people I know are just breeding them, just trying to see,
Just trying
play with incubation
okay.
temperatures and just general like husbandry and stuff. But I'm sure it'll
Yeah.
get there. There's some of the wild ones on iNaturalist look wild. Like they're
Yeah.
some dark, really dark orange and crazy colors. But I'm sure it's in there, it's in all of them.
Are they importing them or are they done?
Um, I would imagine so. I'm not really sure what the legalities of it. I'm sure some German guy shipping them over, for sure. Like I know they're coming from Europe, so who knows
Because I just
the
don't
Yeah.
port.
see
There's a portal in Germany where everything just
really.
comes from. So
Yep.
a lot of people around. a lot of people here. I'm in the New York City area. I know at least 3 or 4 people that are working with them, and I
Oh,
hear of
really?
others that I don't personally know. So there's a decent amount of people starting to work with them.
That's good.
I
That's
think it
good.
has to be an East Coast thing because I
They're
don't see
awesome.
anybody ever
They're
running.
simple, man. They're not that hard. Like,
I was
you know,
watching them. Had them in colonies, dude. There was like a whole bunch of
yeah, it would be so cool to
so
build the big ass tank with a bunch of
so
them in there.
Yeah.
so.
That'd be awesome.
That's awesome.
So, well, so you've only had the one that hatched, so you haven't really noticed like that communal aspect yet, have you?
No, yeah, I have the baby by himself. He's in a little like
Okay.
10 gallon, just
Okay, so you're
by
not keeping
himself.
it in that how Frank Payne was keeping them with the that little bowl in there with the he had a couple baby geckos in there and still in
Yeah,
that
I
same pool.
it seems like I'm sure it would work, but I didn't want to risk it because he was so
Yeah.
small. Like, dude, this thing was tiny. Like,
Oh yeah.
it
So
was
what are you
like
feeding it?
probably fruit flies, dwarf whites, really small crickets when I can get them. But I have so many dwarf white isopods that they're like the
Mhm.
ultimate. I feed the adults them all the time too. They good calcium, phosphorus ratio.
Yeah.
They're a good
Oh, nice.
feeder, and
Okay.
they're the perfect size for like baby geckos.
How
Like
big
you
do
get a
they
good
get?
Yeah.
Don't get how many
the
grams?
what the scorpion tails? They're like
Yeah.
my male's maybe I've never weighed them, but like he's got to be maybe 5 6 grams. Like he's not that small or big, you know. He's probably a solid 4 inches body length, you know, plus his
Yeah.
tail. The
Awesome.
baby's
Wow.
maybe he's probably 2 inches, you know, if that, maybe weighs a gram. Like he's
Yeah.
tiny, he's tripled in size. He's about a month old now,
Okay.
and he eats like a pig. Thing just kills anything you drop in there. It's awesome.
That's good.
Yeah,
That's
man,
That's
he's
hella
eating
good right
good.
there. Shit. So um let's see. No, so from well, I guess like uh care from the baby or actually yeah, care from the baby to the adults, is there um are you keeping the babies a little bit more warmer to what your adults would be so they can grow faster, or you keep them kind of the same?
They're a little bit cooler and more humid. That's
Hmm.
pretty much what Frank, like I asked Frank Payne, I'm like, what do I do? Like help. And he was like, just, keep them around the same and you're good. And just,
Yeah.
mist them a little
What
more.
are your asking sets for that?
It's around the same, like around 90, high 90s, 100 in the hot
Okay.
spot. And then
Okay. Nice.
the cool side is in like, what's it, like 77.
Yeah.
And then so anywhere in between that, he's usually bounces back and forth. I'll see him on the cool side,
Yeah.
chill on the other side, and you know,
Yeah.
they're active. They're always out. They never hide, ever.
Okay. That's what's up. And they're diurnal, or are they nocturnal?
I don't know if they even sleep, dude. Like this thing is always just chilling, and he just stares at you. It's kind of terrifying, but like they're cool. Yeah, like I imagine they sleep, but they're just out there, man. There's always.
Yeah. So, do you provide UV for the baby as well, or you
Yeah,
just
the
kind of
baby's
let
got
him?
UV too. Yeah, he's got the VivTech. It's like the regular the jungle
What's it
cover
called?
one. So it's not quite the desert one, just because I didn't have another desert one lying around. So, but I
Yeah.
would probably give him the same like desert level UV. What is it like a 10.0 or something?
Okay. And so
But
you
So far
said
he's
you're doing
doing
the
good.
whole. Yeah. You do,
do they
so for the incubation, are you
clutches? How?
keeping them? Go ahead.
Oh, what happened?
No, I was asking about the female laying. Do they lay double egg clutches, single eggs,
No, one at a
long?
time. Yeah, one. Yeah, I got one egg at a time, like every 2.5, 3 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Kind of like a
they crank
nose.
them out apparently. I only got 6, but usually you can get 12 from what I hear.
Kind of like a nose right there, where they drop like
Yeah,
almost
one
eggs every
egg.
few weeks.
Yeah, they're pretty. Yeah, she was cranking them out like, you know, did one every 2 weeks, and I got one like within a week. So
Yeah.
you never really know, but it's around that time period.
Yeah, I was listening to a podcast today, and they were talking about. I don't remember what it was. It was some type of day gecko, I believe, and they lay one egg every other week. consistently year round.
Oh yeah, just
I
cranking
was
them
like,
out.
every gecko doesn't have the same, laying pattern. Not every gecko lays 2 eggs. Not every gecko lays 2 eggs once a month, or some species, your Leachianus and stuff, every, maybe lay 3 clutches a year type stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
it's interesting, as close as geckos are related, they're not. They do very different things. They have very,
Oh yeah.
it's,
Yeah, which
it's,
is weird. These are actually they were like related to a lot of the like micro geckos in the
Mm.
Caribbean and like South America. They're in the same family. I can't possibly pronounce that, but I'm not even gonna give it a shot. No way.
super interesting.
But yeah, which is cool. Like they're another, but they're on the other side of the world and they're a desert. That's wild.
Evolution,
Yeah.
man.
I
Continental.
I love that shit. I love it. It's great. That shit is
Me
so
too.
cool.
I love that stuff.
That's like New Caledonia is like it's fucking so cool just because like there's so many reasons why it's cool. Like the plants are cool, the
Mm.
fucking geology is cool. Just like, it's got everything. You
Yeah.
know.
Madagascar, New
Yeah,
Zealand.
dude. Yeah, like all that shit. Sri Lanka, I've been deep diving in because of these Cofotis, and like, there's so much cool shit in Sri Lanka that like you wouldn't even know. Like, there's some
Hell
wild
yeah.
Yeah.
stuff out there.
Dude, I want to talk about those Capotes so bad. Dude, those
Oh,
things
dude,
so
they're awesome. They're so
um,
cool. I love them. They're
so
like
you
little
have to keep
dogs.
yeah, how cool do you have to keep those?
I could, like mine are in like the mid 70s. Justin Legacy Herps told me basically anywhere from 60 to 80. They're good. You know.
Okay.
So like mine
All right.
are, the by the light, it's maybe almost 75, 80, and then rest of the tanks goes into the low 70s,
Yeah.
At night, maybe 65. It's been cold as shit here, so you know,
Yeah, I'm about to actually ship something to New York tomorrow, so I'm
yeah,
worried.
good luck. Yeah, it should be all right now, but like we had a cold
Yeah.
snap the past couple days, and it's been brutal.
Yeah. And I'll put a warm package and send them one of my strophiers out there to I forgot where it's at. It starts with a P, but
To New York,
Poughkeepsie?
Poughkeepsie. That's right.
probably.
Where are you? Where
Yeah,
are you?
that's
Connecticut. I'm
I'm
right
on,
over the line,
I'm in
right?
Long Island, Suffolk County.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what's
so
up.
I'm right just south.
Spent a lot of time. Me and my wife spent a lot of time in Montauk. We take the
Oh
poor
yeah,
jet.
Montauk's awesome. Hell yeah.
It's awesome.
No, nothing about New York. Sorry.
Oh man,
Actually,
gotta get out of here.
one of my associates just came back from there. She went to New York for spring break, and she was like,
That's
"Yeah,
an
yeah, no,
interesting
everything is good."
choice.
I She was trying to check some shit off her list, so she
Yeah,
wanted to
man.
go see.
It's a,
She wanted to go see the Empire State Building. She wanted to go
Yeah,
see Statue of Liberty, and I think she wanted to go down to Chinatown or something.
that's awesome.
yeah,
I
man.
do a
Yeah,
lot of outdoor fishing too, man. So I spend a lot of time
Hell
over
yeah.
like.
Oh yeah, I love fishing. Yep, love it. Long Island's
so
a good spot for that.
with the Scorpion Tail Geckos, were you doing the same thing as Frank Payne with the incubation, where you're just leaving them inside the tank, or you actually put it into an incubator?
I left mine in the tank. Like I found a little corner where it was like pretty much always 80 degrees, and I just let them
Okay,
rock in there. But
okay,
I just seemed to work.
yeah. All right, that's what's up right
Other
there.
people I know incubate them. Like everyone kind of does has their own little
Yeah,
thing they do. My one buddy does them at 85. My other guy does them 80. So it's still
yeah,
kind of everyone's kind of trying to figure them out, I think, to the T.
yeah,
What's the
yeah.
consensus? What do people think? Do they think that they're temperature dependent?
I haven't really heard any one way or the other. 'Cause, I
I
mean,
think
you could pretty much like you can't. They're hard to sex from like right out of the egg.
Mm.
Like some people say they can tell from like a little dot or whatever, but I can't see it. But like it's just basically the tail. Eventually once they get, I think around 5, 6 months, you can kind of see if the tail gets real spiky and the females stays kind of
Oh,
smoother. So it just
okay.
looks like a regular
They're sexual.
tail.
Okay,
so.
so
They are
they do have some
Mm,
dimorphism.
the
Yeah, like
males.
even the male doesn't really have much of a bulge. He's got like a little bit, but like
Not
Not
a lot to
compared to my
tell.
guard, like yeah, you wouldn't tell, like you wouldn't know that way, you know.
Okay. Yeah, that's what's up. That's cool right there. Yeah.
Yeah, they're a lot of
So,
fun.
yeah. And you got anything, man?
Yeah, I can ask a million questions. So how
Ask
do the
away, my dog.
Yeah.
the adult males and adult females, how do they how do they differ? Like you said, the males have spikes, the females don't.
Yeah, the male's tail is like vertically wide. It's like a weird, and then it's like super spiky, and they'll like display with it, and
They wave
you
it
know
back and
they
forth.
wave it back and forth. There's a couple. I've noticed a couple different like dance moves, I guess, for lack of a better term. You know, he does one. He would do like a more of a scorpion like mimic kind of thing, which I think would be more like, hey, like leave me the fuck alone. And then more so like when he was like courting the female, he would kind of sway it back and forth and then like jut it forward, and like he did all sorts of wild shit. He would do like push-ups and stuff. He'd like flare up his throat. You know, he'd really showboat. Like,
Okay.
and yeah, he did that for a while, and then they kind of pretty much just locked up, and that was it.
Yeah.
So when I watched them
So,
showing them, and they were showing all their little moves and stuff. You know how they
It's
wave.
so cool. It's so weird. Like this thing is awesome. Like
They're one of the few
yeah,
species that you can actually have multiple males. I guess they were saying the males.
yeah. From what I hear, a lot of people keep a couple males, couple females, and everything. You know, they form their
yeah,
own little hierarchy. I don't know. I'm
yeah.
like paranoid to do that. I don't know, but that's just me. Like I like to minimize any potential fuck ups,
I think
like
maybe if you get
much
like
as
a
possible.
big enough, yeah, if you
Yeah,
get
if
a
you
big
did
enough
like
tank,
an,
I
you
think you
know,
can
like a
do it.
75-gallon tank or something with like a bunch of rocks and different visual
Yeah,
barriers, you'd probably be
yeah,
fine.
yeah.
You know.
I've heard. So have you heard of those heteronotia benoides?
Yeah,
So
those are really
yeah.
cool too. I want to. Yeah,
So
they're on the list.
I heard someone did like a 40-gallon tank, right? And had all these different rocks set up, and they all had pretty much their own little tribes in that
Oh
tank.
yeah, they form like little colonies and like chirp at each
Yeah,
other and shit. Yeah, that would
yeah.
be cool to
Like
do.
go,
Yeah, they
you
look
go
like
sit
a lot
over
of
that
fun
tank
too.
over here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
they
like to
do.
fight. That's
Yeah,
pretty dope. Yeah, it's almost like, like a dart frog enclosure. They're like
yeah.
calling and stuff,
So I was thinking maybe you could do I was yeah probably do something like that for Scorpion Tails or something.
That's what
Have
I
all
was
these
thinking
different.
of doing. I want to do a new background because, like, right now I just have like the regular Exoterra foam garbage in the
Yeah,
back, and it drives me. I hate looking at it. It's pissing me off. But I haven't quite figured out what I'm gonna do with it yet. But we'll do something
yeah,
cool
definitely.
soon enough.
I mean,
I
that's
just
so many
finished
things.
building all my Ebanawi tanks and shit, so like I'm done building stuff for a little while, so I could
I
focus
saw
on
the
this
records
one.
on those. Those are dope.
They're
Yeah.
getting there. Yeah, soon they
Mhm.
need to grow in a little bit, and they'll be good.
What plants were you using for that?
I used Ficus benjaminas, a bunch of like what is in there? Some philodendrons. What else I got in there? What the hell is that other one? It's shit. I got some Magravia cuttings in there, the little vines. Ficus pumila or whatever the hell, however you pronounce that.
Yeah.
And what else? Oh, those umbrella trees, the micro, the small ones. And then
Okay.
just let them grow in for usually about a month, and then I'll throw something in there.
Yeah. So what kind of plant? Because I know we were talking before we started recording. You were talking about trying to get it like a bioactive area. Uh, what kind of plants do you think you could use for that? Because I've been
Oh, for the
struggling trying to think of.
for the
Yeah.
uh, for the scorpion tails.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. I don't really know much about like succulents, and I'd have to do some more research on that. I've been looking at like in that area and like what I could find locally
Yeah.
similar that like plant shops, but still in the research process of that. I haven't really even attempted to do plants. I just wanted to figure them out just
Yeah.
husbandry wise before I went full like planted and all that stuff,
Yeah.
you know. But I
Yeah.
think soon enough we'll get there. Probably just any general succulent would do all right, some
Yeah.
probably local like Arizona plants and shit by you guys would do great, you know.
I
Yeah.
see you guys
Yeah, I mean, from
watch.
what it looks like, there's not that much, there's like real like little small shrubs in their natural habitat. So like I wouldn't imagine it's that
No.
densely planted, but you never know. Deserts, there's a lot of plants in deserts. You just got to be there at the right time to see them.
Yeah, gotta catch them in that wet season.
Yeah, you catch them after a rain, and then it looks like a different place.
That's true. So, what kind of uh, because I know you said you want to try to do it. What kind of uh, not feeder crew, cleanup crew would you have to use that? Like
That I
some.
mean, apparently there are like desert springtails. I've never seen them for sale, but I probably just the only thing is with the eggs. It's like I want to make sure nothing eats the eggs. So it's
Yeah,
like the cleanup crew. It's like, do I really want to go all the way with it with the arid setup? It's like it's not that
yeah,
hard to just clean the tank and
yeah.
it's
So you're not using a
yeah.
label.
With these, they kind of lay them like under rocks and like I guess they would put them probably at the base of the roots of plants and stuff in the wild, but usually they went right next to a rock and lay the egg right underneath the rock.
So they
It's
don't bear.
weird. Yeah, I didn't try a lay box. They just she pretty much laid in the same spot almost every time, like the same general rock, just different
Yeah.
sides depending on, I guess, which side she liked at that time. But it's cool. They would she'd dig the hole and then she would lay the egg, but like catch it with her back feet and like deposit it into the hole with her feet, like real gently. It was like a cool behavior.
Mhm.
I tried to get video of it, but I couldn't get a good shot. But it
Do
was
they
really
do
cool.
they do they mold the egg into that real circular one around, or it just pop out
That's
already circular?
they're just like little
Okay.
ping pong, like micro ping pong balls.
Yeah, because I thought there was like a gecko species that would, when they pop them out, they would mold it into a real circular. That was like one of the Europlans where they
Yeah.
mold it into a
Possible.
because
Oh,
it
they
comes
might like
out almost
rub
molded.
like dirt on it and stuff to kind of camouflage maybe. Because I know the Ebonali eggs are pretty wild looking.
Yeah. Are they really calcified or are they pretty soft?
They were they were pretty like regular like calcified egg, but they were very, very delicate. Like I cracked
Like,
I
like
cracked one
thin
for
shell?
sure. Like yeah, super thin. Like I use a
Okay.
Slurpee, like a 7-Eleven Slurpee straw to kind of scoop them out.
Just scoop it
That
up.
was Joe Hupp
That's a good
pro
one.
tip. He hooked it up with the
Yeah,
pro tip on that one, and it worked like a charm.
that's good right
But
there.
yeah,
That's
super
good.
delicate. They were like you would. I was so scared to dig those fucking things up. Oh my god.
Yeah, I know. That's how I am every time my family meet is because their eggs are like this fucking big, real
They're so
tiny.
small, dude. Yeah, man.
Yeah, and I'm over here just digging away like, come on, don't hit the egg, please don't hit the egg. But yeah, I know that
Yeah,
feeling.
yeah. I thought my chameleon gecko, my VRD, laid the other day, but I guess she was just digging test holes. But
Yeah,
I didn't find shit. I looked, I didn't see anything. But she's getting ready to drop probably within a week or two, I would think.
nice.
Oh, she
Have
looks
you produced them
pretty.
before?
Nah, this would be a first time for those two.
Yeah, that's what's up. I like that. What all have you produced since you got back into the hobby?
This is the first thing, really. Back when I
Okay.
was like a teenager, I bred viper geckos and cresteds, and that
Oh
was
yeah,
pretty much it. Um, Sandboas never got a chance to breed those. I had Indian Sandboas. They were cool.
nice. Yeah, those are dope. I like those. If I
Yeah,
was
they're
gonna get a
just
snake, it'd probably
weird,
be something like
derpy
that.
little snakes. Yeah, they're cool.
I like those crazy looking eyes they got.
Oh
They're
yeah,
crazy. I
I
don't
think
know.
that's the Arabian ones. Yeah, they got like
Mhm.
the googly eyes on the top of the head. Yeah,
Yeah, look like you could literally take them off and put them on something else. That's how they look. They just almost look like they're just shaking all the time.
yeah. It's like, how is this a real animal? Yeah.
Yep. Go ahead. Ed.
Oh, so if you had to tell people a reason why they should keep them, what would you say? People, why? What are people missing out on? Like with this species, why do you
The
think they should
number
be more?
one, the behaviors. Like just the behaviors, like watching them. It's like a fish tank. They're always doing something. They're out. It's not like I love my guards, but they're sleeping half the day. They're under their log, usually on the back of a plant or something. Like mine don't really hide per se, but they're not running around.
Yeah.
So they're out during the day, at night they're running around. They're just always there.
Yeah.
Super
What
active.
So they're pretty handleable, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really fuck with mine too much, but like, yeah, I've scooped him up and he doesn't really mind. I try to avoid touching them as much as possible. Like, I just kind of let them chill. But yeah, from a few times I've grabbed them, they don't like bug out. Just they look at you and they're like, "What are you doing?" And that's it.
That's so fun. Yeah.
vocal?
Yeah,
Do they
because I
make?
know people. Go ahead.
Are they vocal? Do they make any noises? Do they?
I haven't heard any. I'm not really sure if they can. I mean, they might, but I've never heard any chirps or anything. It's more like the tail and the push-ups and like it's more visual communication.
So what's your end game with them? What do you have planned for yourself? Like, what would you like to accomplish with the species?
I just like to figure them out a little more, just learn how I could do it better, next year and how I could improve. Just
Mm.
try and really dial in the setup. That's what
I
I'm
mean,
like. I just want the setup to be dialed right in, like,
that's awesome. That's cool.
Yeah. Well, I've always heard that if you haven't thought about changing your whole setup at least a couple times, you're not really doing that animal justice.
oh
So,
yeah, I'm always looking like on my weather. You would think I was like a CIA agent with my weather app. It's like all over like the Middle East and Madagascar and shit. And it's like, no,
wow.
it's for my lizards. Like I'm fucking weird, whatever. Like,
I got fucking tough. I got the same stuff. I got Queensland on mine. Uh, I have Phuket, Thailand on mine.
yeah, man.
What else? I got New Caledonia on mine. I got all kinds of. Now I'm about to add was it India to my app now. So I got to figure that stuff out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man. It's like it's useful information. You would be, you might as well use it. You could check the weather anywhere. I mean, obviously they're not right where it's usually in a city, but like you could kind of figure it out. Do
But yeah, you can get those general temperatures and then try to find ways to incorporate that into your clothing. Just like we say that
Right.
binoculars. You're looking at pictures, like, all right, let's go ahead. That's where they were spotted at. All right, cool.
Right,
Now
what's
I take
great
that
is like
picture.
most of the time there's coordinates, on
Yeah.
iNaturalist. So you could plug that right into Google Maps or Google Earth and look what it looks like. It's not a great
Mm-hmm.
resolution, but you can get a general idea.
That's awesome.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was listening to somebody the other day, and they were saying, a lot of guys will, ask around like, how do you keep them? How do you do this? With other species, not necessarily scorpion tails, but so few people, so little people look to the wild. Like we shouldn't be asking what
Yeah, it's not like a recipe, bro.
we should
Like, you
compare our
gotta,
to the wild. Like what are they doing in their natural environment? It's cool that
yeah,
you do.
man.
It's awesome. I don't feel
Yeah,
that
it
many
just it
under
seems like common sense. I don't know. Like, I
not
mean, there's like
Well,
that whole care sheet mentality, but like
yeah.
that's just like
But I
that's
want.
like your base fucking level of like, all right, this will keep it alive. We're trying to do better than that.
absolutely, absolutely. It's sad
Yeah.
more people don't. Well, many people are worried
Yeah,
about how Schmo keeps it instead of the
yeah.
wild. What
Go
does it do?
look on iNaturalist. Look at a picture of what it looks where they're living.
Yeah.
See the
You
temperatures.
got.
Check that out.
Yeah.
Wait,
Use
You
that
got
into your
iNaturalist. You
yeah,
got Google
Google
Scholar.
Earth, Google
Yeah.
Scholar,
You
you
got.
could find anything. Yeah. What is there's like
Okay.
LibGen, you could download fucking anything.
Yeah.
absolutely,
There's plenty of information out there. There's not that much
Oh
on this particular species, but like there's enough where you can kind of get the ball rolling.
yeah. You got
absolutely. It's
nothing to
enough
start.
to
And
start
then you
learning.
can add to that. That's the thing, though. You can add to that information now that you got it going, right? So
Yeah, you just
and
keep
what was
building
it like?
up until you're never done. There's always going to be
Yeah,
something you add. You know, you're
that's
never
right.
going to be like, oh, I fucking nailed it. Like, no, that's like no.
Yeah. All right. Uh, so my last question really is, why geckos? What made you? want to go ahead into geckos and be your main thing.
You were breaking up a little bit. What was that?
Good.
So my last question is, so why geckos? What made geckos be
Geckos.
your thing to go to?
Geckos have always been just like my favorite lizards, really. You know, there's so many different, colors, shapes. There's so many,
Yeah.
what is it? I think it's them and skinks are the most numerous species of like lizards. There's
Mm.
thousands and thousands of them. They're just so variable, and like the
Yeah.
nocturnal aspect is cool. It was like that's what factored in when I got into geckos. It was like gargoyles. Like I was work in the restaurant business. I would get home late. Something nocturnal would be, I would see the nocturnal animal. I wouldn't get a diurnal animal. I wouldn't see it.
Yeah.
So like that kind of just the nocturnal aspect. They're just I always like them. I don't know. They're just cool little lizards.
Okay.
Do
Yeah.
these scorpion tails have eyelids? Do they have? Does every gecko species have not have eyelids? Or am I missing something? Is that like one of the?
Certain
No,
there's families that have
you
them. Yeah, like
you would.
I Eublephaриds, yeah, like leopard
Yeah.
geckos,
Yeah.
cave geckos. I'm sure there's others, but
Yeah.
I don't think.
Polyonics.
Yeah, these I don't think have. They have like a big scale, like eyebrow kind of thing, but I
No
don't think
eyelid.
it. Yeah,
I want to hold one.
they're
Today is
dude, they're cool, man. They're a lot of fun. I love them. They're great.
Yeah.
literally
They're a lot of
the
fun.
time I started like looking into them and seeing it. Every time we have a guest that keeps something rare like this, I see what I'm missing out on. I
They're
keep.
super cool. Yeah, they're a lot of fun, man. I highly recommend them. They're the only arid species I keep. Everything else is pretty much
Tropical.
tropical, like cloud forest or something like that. So, but
Would you
I
say
was willing
they're
to make an
pretty
exception.
easy? Are they pretty easy? Would you compare them to like a leopard gecko? Are they just as that easy as them?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they're pretty simple.
Uh,
I mean, I only have a small sample size and like only about a year and change working with them, but they eat, they poop, they breed, like I haven't had much issues except for the egg bind
yeah.
situation, but like other than that, they're doing all right. They're eating, they're running around, they're active.
Yeah.
I'd say
How
they're
much research?
better
How much research did you end up doing before you actually purchased them?
a lot. Yeah, I
Uh,
was reading. I went down the rabbit hole, man. Yeah, at least several months. I was just reading
I
whatever.
mean, that's what you want. That's what I mean. That's what I want to hear. You know,
That's what I do,
because
man. Like I go, yeah. My girl will make fun of me. She's just like, "You're a fucking nerd," and I'm like, "Yeah, you're right."
yeah, when I start looking at new species, it gets bad. I'm
Yeah, it's like
YouTubing
that
it up.
meme where you're like
Um,
Charlie from Always Sunny with the like little fucking the beautiful mind thing where he's got the collage of
yeah,
shit on the wall. Like that's what happens, and it's
yeah,
every time. Yeah, man.
I feel that.
Got to do it right. You can't, you know.
we
Gotta,
owe
Hell
it to
yeah. Well,
we owe it
yeah,
to make
man. Like they don't want to fucking be in your house. Like you got to at least give them
that
the best you could do.
wild caught stuff, man. I don't have anything per se, but I feel bad, man. Like we owe it to them. We owe it to them. If you're gonna
Yeah,
take that
you got to do
wild,
the best you can possibly do. It's just
absolutely,
like
man. The
it's
closest thing.
not worth doing it if you're not going to do it. Like that's why I was like
yeah,
when I got into it after like during COVID, I was like, all right, let me build these tanks. Let me build a fucking real badass tank that like functions right and meets all the needs and everything. Why wouldn't you?
yeah,
I want to look at it. Like I don't want to. I want it looks cool. Like I want to see the
yeah,
behaviors. I don't want to just see it, sleeping in under like a cardboard tube or something. You know.
yeah.
Do you keep water in there? Do you keep water dish in their enclosure? Moving water
I just
bowl?
missed them. I missed them usually like at night or like early morning, depending on the time of year and stuff. But yeah, then just
Okay.
a good mist once a day, and they lap it up off the walls and rocks and stuff. And
Yeah.
Cool.
So, because I know you're talking about you wanted to redo the background. So, what were you thinking about trying to do with that?
I'm thinking like some sort of foam, like either the I hate spray foam, but like it does serve a purpose. But I was thinking either that like the pink insulation foam, the boards, just
Mhm.
so at least it's like that, and then kind of just make like a fake rock ledge wall, kind of like a three-dimensional, little
Yeah,
ledges and shit for them to kind of just get more surface area in the tank so they could
yeah.
do more shit.
Take some
Okay.
slate, smash the
Yeah,
slate.
just make some fake, make it look just like the rest of the rocks and try
Yes,
and
the
paint it
fall.
or whatever, dry lock it. It's
Yeah,
like the Dark Frog guys, those dudes kill it, bro. Like we should,
yeah, they
Absolutely.
that's,
do.
like Troy Goldberg, like guys like that, like they build wild shit and it's beautiful. Like you could do that for almost, there's a ton of guys doing cool backgrounds and tanks and shit. Like there's a lot of
Yeah,
cool stuff out there.
It makes the animal that
yeah.
much cooler, if you ask me,
Yeah, it
man.
looks so much better. Like why wouldn't you want to do it?
You see,
But
Yeah,
it's
you're
you might
taking
fuck it up
that next
three
step. Yeah,
times, but you'll figure it out. I learned wear
yeah.
gloves with the spray foam because that shit will rip your skin off. Like,
Yeah, damn.
yeah, man, that is no fun. But that's how you learn.
I mean, I
Crazy
even
right there.
to give them a more naturalistic environment, they're more apt to do natural habits. They have
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I want
you
to
know
see. That's
natural environment. It's going to do things that it doesn't do in a box with a
right,
pea and pool noodle.
right.
It's just I think that we again like I said, we owe it to them, man. If you're going to take them out of the wild, put them in something that's similar to their home. If you're going to keep an animal that comes from an area that kind of causes them to act a certain way. I mean, like a species that digs tunnels. I mean, it's kind of sad to have in a bin with no substrate if you can't dig a tunnel. I mean, that's you want to
Right.
see it dig a tunnel. You want to see it climb a stone like it does and bob his head and show off to the rest of the males that aren't there. Like
Yeah, like
it's
my goal for each one of my like tanks that's planted and everything, I want to have to try and find the fucking thing.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like that's half the fun. It's like
Yeah.
where, especially
Yeah,
with like the Ebanawi, like it's hard. Like I don't know where the
yeah.
fuck they
Especially
are half the
one.
time. They're like
Like
this
this
big
big.
and they look like all the leaves. Like the Cophodus, they blend into anything. It's hard to spot them. Like the
Love those.
female especially. They're awesome. I fucking love them.
Are the Capotas, are they live bearing? Or
Yeah,
they drop eggs?
yeah, they're like one of the few live bearing agamids,
That's so
which is
cool.
yeah, and like they pop out a bunch of them from what Justin's telling me. Like he got like 12 out of one. Like they're little,
Mhm.
man. Like they're not big lizards at
Yeah,
all. Like,
yeah.
but they
For
blow up like
sure.
footballs when they're pregnant, apparently.
Well, how long have you had yours?
I've had the male since October, and the female, I think I got the female like the end of October, November, so a couple months.
How long before? What's their maturation like? Like what is
Usually,
how when do
like
they get
just
something?
like around a year, I think, once they're about a year
Hmm.
old.
Really
But
that
I'm not
quick?
in a hurry. Yeah, they don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said
Crazy.
they breed pretty. Yeah, they're small. Like so, I think they just mature fast. Like most small
Most
species. Like
people. Yeah.
these apparently like these mature up like 7 months. They're like my female laid a slug when she was like 6 months old. I didn't pair her with the male yet, but like she laid a slug at like 6, 7 months old.
Well,
So when you did have them paired together, uh were you just putting the male inside the female tank, or did you just put them living together in one spot?
I just kept them, yeah, I put the female in the male's tank just because he had the bigger enclosure when I
Enclosure.
had her in like a 20 gallon. And then yeah, they got along fine. They were chilling, they would like hang out with each other. Like it's like now it's weird. Like now that the female isn't here, like the male looks like he's like I don't want to say depressed, but like
Yeah,
something's
he's
up. He's like
where,
he's seen
like,
he
where'd she
knows he's
go?
like where'd she go? Like yeah, like
Yeah,
it's like I don't want to anthropomorphize it, but like he knows something's different. Like
are
but
you
yeah,
gonna try to find
they
another
would
female?
chill. Yeah, I gotta get yeah, I gotta
Yeah.
after that I was so like crushed. I was like, dude, do I even want to fucking work with these anymore? And I'm like, no, I gotta figure it
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. I think we
But
all go through that every now and then when
I
something
just
happens.
missed one too. There was one on Morph Market. I saw like a female
There's
and it was
two.
there was two, and they're gone. I was like, ah.
Yeah,
I went to go check, and
yeah.
it was gone. I was like, damn.
That's why I thought I just saw one not like today, but one was for like a group of four. I think they were all males, and then there was one.
Yeah,
I think it might have been
I've noticed most of the ones for sale are always no one wants to give up their
female.
females. I don't blame them. Like
It's hard.
it's hard.
That's hard.
You
Is
always want
Wally
to have more females. What's that?
is Wally at Supreme Gecko still working with them?
I'm
Do you,
not sure. I honestly I'm not sure. I know I got one of my females from I got one from Joe Hupp.
I'm about to say, I know
Was
he
that
always
like
posts something for sale.
yeah, he's got them usually, and Frank Payne and a couple other
Yeah,
people I see that like are really seriously working with them. I'm pretty sure Frank Colachico still works with them, but I'm not 100% on that.
I just
But yeah,
imagine
there's a handful of people.
you keep them in colonies. I mean, who the hell
They're
would? You got to have a
Dude, they're
bunch.
productive
Of
too. Yeah, like they'll crank out eggs, especially if you got a couple
yeah.
of females. Like you can get 100 eggs probably, no problem.
wow, that's awesome. Huh.
Man,
People
that's
gotta
a
let
good
go of
product
those
for the future.
females. Yeah, man, they're gonna be popular. Like they're already kind of getting more and more popular. They're so fucking weird. Like why wouldn't you want that? It's like a little alien.
I like their feet. They have different feet from
They're
the
like
rest of the
birds. Yeah,
geckos.
they're like
Yeah, they're
they
like
look like
lizards.
birds. Yeah,
Yeah, they have like regular lizard feet with the
yeah, it's
claws
like
and
an
everything. It's
iguana
just,
foot.
yeah,
Dude, their
but
legs
on
are
the geckos.
fucking long too.
Yeah,
Like their legs are wild long. They're like spiders.
yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And you see them using all the enclosures.
Yeah, he's my male would fem like they kind of had their little favorite spots, but like
Yeah.
pretty much they'd be all over, man. At night he would usually crawl on the back or like tuck up on a log and chill, and then during the day they're up running around and but I've noticed like I've tried like I would throw crickets in at night or daytime whenever, but they would pretty much always, if they saw something, they would eat it. It was never like
Yeah.
I wouldn't eat it at night or date. Pretty much always their
How
real
often?
movement. What was that?
How often do you feed them?
I was feeding the adults pretty much like every other day, every 2 days, usually every other day though. And the baby I feed every day, just like
There's
right
a lot of
now.
little things. They have like super fast metabolisms and eat a lot.
Yeah, yeah, and they're out and it's hot, so they're cranking. So yeah, I feed
Yeah.
them, a couple like not it's never like I don't have a schedule really, but like, some days I'll throw a few like two or three crickets in for them, or
Mm.
like one day I'll drop a bunch of dwarf whites in there and some dubias. They're real movement based. Like I feel like in the wild they got to be eating like ants or termites or some shit. Just like the way their face is shaped, it's like kind of comes to a point. So
Mm.
like you would think they'd be eating something really small. It was like when I would dump a bunch of dwarf whites in there, they would go nuts and they would just tear them up. Crickets they'll eat, but like I feel like they don't really, it's not
They
their
like
favorite,
smaller prey.
And dubia, like, I don't, they, I put them in a bowl because I don't want them just in the
Yourself.
tank. And like if they don't really move enough, the female would always just crush them no matter what. Like if she figured out the bowl. The male, like he'd have to really be in the mood for one to get into the bowl and eat one.
Have you tried red runners?
No, no. Those things freak me out. If one of those, I'll be a dead man. My girl will chop my hands off, bro.
My wife.
I'm lucky as it is with whatever. I just keep bringing home wild shit, and she's cool. So I just
I have like a
no.
little bin right now of red runners that I'm scared to open.
Yeah,
Like
dude, they're too fast.
I've been giving them food and food and food. I'm just waiting for it to just explode. I'm like, let's see what happens.
I hear
They're
nightmare
so
stories. I hear
yeah,
stories
man.
about somebody
Dude,
put.
my worst nightmare dumping over like a dubia tub or something. Oh God,
Oh,
Yeah,
fuck.
but yeah,
Because like,
they
oh,
live
they can't
forever.
breed. Like bullshit. They'll breed.
Shoot.
They're
they def-
roaches. They'll
And
figure it
they
out.
live
Like,
forever.
yeah,
I remember I had a
dude.
bin of roaches. I forgot I even had a bin of roaches for like 9 months. And
Oh
they were
yeah,
still on going. They're just
they're
like, hey,
fine.
what's up? I'm like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, you're gonna tell me
Yeah,
those things aren't gonna breed like under a hot water pipe or some shit? They'll fucking breed.
definitely.
Definitely.
yeah.
I used to keep all my stuff in my laundry room. one day I was in there cleaning and I cleaned all the lint at my dryer. I pulled my dryer out. If my wife would have seen what the fuck I found back there, I'd be street all lizards. And
Oh yeah, man.
it was like you hear people say things sometimes, and I'm like, I don't get really why. I mean, I get like they're trying to promote something, but I'm definitely don't agree with lying to people. Like, if you're going to keep them, you're going to breed them, that's cool. But don't tell people they're not going to do something that I can clearly tell you they did. I can tell you from
Yeah. Oh yeah.
experience.
So for any of the stuff you have, do you have to have permits in New York for it, or everything you got okay? 'Cause I know
All
like
the lizard.
pythons.
Yeah, there. Where I'm at, like each town kind of has laws, but like none of them are really like
Yeah.
lizard related. So it's like a tegu. I think tegus are like illegal here, but like people still have them, and they don't really. I see them at shops, so like I don't know. Like New York City is real strict with like just big snakes, pythons, boas, and shit like that. But out here, people have pretty much no venomous, but I'm sure there's
Yeah.
some people in New York don't follow laws to begin with, so like who knows what fucking people have out here? You never know.
You ever go to the exotic pet warehouse over there in Mount Vernon? Or is it Yonkers Exotic Pet Warehouse?
No, no, I never have.
I don't know if it's still there. I haven't been there in years, but this guy Louis used to own it, man. And I literally brought in an anaconda. I bought a baby anaconda, and I couldn't get the fucking thing to eat. So I'm like, I'm just gonna bring it down to the shop, man. I can't deal with it. I traded the dude for an alligator. I traded him the anaconda for
Oh,
an air.
it used to be the Wild West back. Yeah,
Swear to
like
God.
when I was a kid,
So one
bro.
bad idea for another.
Yeah, man. New
Yeah,
York, New
man.
lies,
Yeah,
man.
there was a pet shop out by me when I was a kid that had like fucking tigers and alligators and monkeys and shit. Like, it
Yeah,
was
they
like
had
the late
monkey,
early 90s. There was wild shit going on. There was the Wild
anything.
West out here.
It's like the hub, dude.
Yeah, there was a guy a town. I forget. What was he like 2 towns over? He had emus and shit. They were like they would always escape. They'd be running down one of the highways and shit, and they'd be like, "Where the fuck are these emus coming from?"
I just saw on eBay you can buy fertilized emu eggs on eBay for $100.
Yeah.
That's something wild. Holy shit!
Swear to
Hatch
God.
Oh,
that thing out.
oh
Those are
shit! They
flying
sell
animals, dude.
they sell chameleon eggs now too. What
That's so weird.
chameleon eggs?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I
praying
don't know how
mantis
I feel
eggs.
about that.
Holy
Yeah,
shit!
praying mantis eggs, I get like a spider, sling, whatever. Like, I don't
They
know,
probably
buying
make good
eggs.
if you hatch one of those pods and raise them to the right size. They go through phases. They probably make a badass feeder for something.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
they only last like less than a year. That's a bad thing. That's the only reason I never got into praying mantis. I love them. They look fucking cool, but
Oh yeah,
their lifespans
they're
are
cool as
slow as
hell,
shit.
but yeah. It's the same thing with like octopus, like people that keep like saltwater tanks. Like octopus are the coolest shit, but like yeah, it's like 2 years, that's it. It's like this thing is so
Yeah,
intelligent. How is it only lived 2 years?
yeah.
Like it blows my mind.
What's the life expectancy of those viper tails?
These aren't honestly I have no idea.
Uh,
No clue. I would guess in the 8 to 10 year kind of range, but nobody really knows. I'm sure someone's been keeping them for a while, like longer than you know a couple of years, but probably 5 to 10 years. I would guess. Whatever.
any
Not
information
bad.
on the habits? Do they? You know anybody that's ever left the eggs in the enclosure and seen if the parents help raise the babies?
I'm not. I don't think so. I've never heard of anything like where they would, but usually everyone I've talked to kind of incubates them. So I'm sure they would if you had the right,
Today,
conditions in the right little spot, and they would hatch in the enclosure. It'd be worth giving it a shot.
I honestly would just after the couple of videos I watched today and how I, saw the kid Frank in the wild and he picked up a stone and there was like six of them together. I'm like, if these things are living like that, it
Yeah,
doesn't
you would
make
think they're probably communally nesting.
yeah sense naturally for Mother Nature to why would they lay them there if they were going to eat them if they're staying together in communities and
I'm
males even.
sure they would be fine. Like I'm
Mm,
sure they would.
sure.
Got to test it out. You know,
I
get
would.
a big enough.
Maybe if once I have a big enough group of them, I would maybe give it a shot. You know?
Yeah.
That's something for someone to learn. I mean, that's what's so intriguing about the species and what you're doing with them, dude. Is it all these unknown? Like, there's
Yeah, just
people
figure
keeping
it
them,
out as you go, man.
so much
Try and
unknown.
Yep.
I'm doing that pretty much with everything. Like, just kind of trying to do the
Yep.
best again.
That's awesome, man.
That's all. Yeah, we all trying to do that.
Damn it.
But
I
so
don't
tell everybody where they can reach you.
Oh,
geckos.
yeah, man. I'm on Instagram, Island underscore Endemics. That's pretty much it. Yeah, like I was like never into social media up until recently. I'm like, fuck it, let me give it a shot.
Now we have to.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Now
like,
I'm do like 3 accounts right now. I'm like, God damn.
well, there's just so much cool shit to buy and see. Like it's worth. It's the only reason I really
Yeah.
made the account was like I wanted to buy more shit.
Well, I just want to talk to people that have the same passions as us.
Yeah,
That's what
man.
I want to do.
Hell
Chop it
yeah.
up with people, get some more information. Flow back and forth with it, and all the day.
Yeah, there's a ton of awesome people out there doing cool shit and just try and learn, keep
They're
it
really
moving.
glad you said that.
Especially now, man, it's really blowing up to like where people are trying to make cool tanks and all this awesome shit and like really do get into the lighting and the humidity and like all little these little things to make it better and better. It's awesome.
Absolutely, absolutely. Even little conversations like this, man. It's what we're trying to do. In all honesty, is it's there's a lot of people out there doing little things, and people are doing them differently. What separates us from our primate cousins is not our opposable thumbs, right? It's our ability to communicate. If we can
Right,
talk to each other, we learn from each other. What you tell me, I may not be doing. I may pick up something from you. You may pick up something from me.
100%.
Of the day, if the goals are our primary focus and are what we're trying to better, then there can really be no wrong from us talking about what we're doing. What you're not doing doesn't have to be wrong. What I'm doing doesn't have to be wrong.
Right,
And it's
100%.
wrong. If we're all learning, and again, our focus is the animals, this is what makes the hobby grow. Exposing
100%.
species, exposing techniques, and our flaws. Letting people know that we fail. It's not a whole bunch of winners out here. We're not all winning, breeding enough, to repopulate the wild. We're
Right.
failing
Yeah, that's
too.
what when you guys had me on, and I'm like, I don't know shit about any of this, bro. I'm like, all right, I'll come on, whatever. Like, just you know,
Listen,
I'll tell you how it went. I gave it a shot.
it
Keep
sparks
it moving.
sparking interest to potentially
That's what's
change.
that's what's great about all these podcasts, bro. Like, as
Absolutely.
I listen to like NPR a lot, like the Herpeticulture Network, like Project
You're
Herpeticulture, and
missing
all
this.
these guys.
You're missing those snake stories, right?
Oh yeah, shit, it's 9 o'clock. But like all these guys, like it all translates, just because they're Python guys or whatever. It's all the same shit, bro. Like, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like you could take
it is.
something and figure out something for geckos or whatever, It's all the same stuff.
And one another, man. We all have a passion with these locations that these animals come from, right? We
Hell yeah.
all area is cool. We'd all love to march through the jungle, stomp through the desert, climb
Oh fuck yeah.
cloud forest. Like we want to bring these things to our home, right? So that's why we get these species. No one gets a lizard. It's like, I don't know where it comes from. I just no. We
Right,
typically
like
fall in love
what are you
with air.
doing? Yeah. You're wasting half of the fun shit about it.
Yeah.
Like learning about where they come from, like everything, like go down the rabbit hole, man. Learn about the plants,
Absolutely.
the geology, it's all connected, like you have the kind of plants because of the geology. You have the
Absolutely.
animals because of the kind of plants. So you should fucking learn about a little bit of all of it.
So many gecko species. I mean, with the areas they come from and the camouflage and their characteristics and their traits, they have literally adapted to certain regions of the world, right? Like,
Yeah, even with these, like if you look at the wild ones on INAT, they're all different shades of gray, brown, like, and I bet you the rocks and they're like,
absolutely,
that they look like the rocks. I would bet money on it if you went there. The ones that are darker have darker rocks, It's all that shit's awesome.
Yep.
amazing. Mother Nature is just, I say it on probably every podcast,
Mad
but
scientist, man.
it's
For
amazing.
real.
Evolution is crazy, you know. Ultimately, with
Oh
all
yeah.
these species of geckos, at one point there was probably one, right? There was probably
Yeah.
one gecko, and whatever happened, happened, and they drifted across the globe, and every species of gecko adapted to the area where it wound up. Look at the other
Yep.
species. Just look at even Sequoias. Look, you know, all these
Look
Europlatus.
at look at the lineatus.
Those fucking
Lineatus
things are
compared to
awesome. Yeah.
compared to the rest of those Uroplatus, they're just totally different. They just look like
Yeah,
bamboo,
so
while everybody
wild.
else looks
Yeah.
like forest. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
I could.
the Ebonaui's looking at me right now. It's a little female. She's
That's
All
probably
right,
awesome.
hungry.
cool. So, yeah, I know you probably gotta go feed, right?
Yeah, I got time, dude. Whatever. We're chilling.
Yeah, I don't got much more. I haven't said. I was like, oh shit, 5 o'clock. Okay, I could feed real quick. So I ended up feeding real quick on my stuff.
Yeah, I kind of
But
alternate. Like, I'll feed the Gargs and the new cow stuff one night. I'll do the
yeah,
Europlatus one night. Just it's always something to do. We don't really have a big collection. I got like, but it takes me about an hour. Nothing crazy.
How many animals
yeah.
do you have altogether?
What's that?
How many animals do you have altogether?
Where am I at? Like 11, I think 12. Yeah, I got a trio of Gargs, pair of the Cophotis, pair of the Ebanawi, pair of the chameleon geckos, the baby. Yeah, about 11. Yeah.
What's your favorite of all the things you keep? No buy. What's your
Oh
favorite?
man, it's honestly it's the Cophotis and the Ebanawi are hard to beat, but the chameleon geckos they're up there too. I mean I love them all. It's hard to pick, but the chameleon geckos are just cool. But the Ebenawis are just amazing. All like just hunting wise, like they're just zeroed in, bro. Like like some of the new cow stuff is kind of derpy when you're like feeding it. These fucking things are zeroed in. Like they're on that cricket in like a second. They're really cool.
If money was no object, and you could any
Ooh,
world you want, what gecko would you keep? What would you
what
work with?
gecko?
Yeah,
Mm,
but
probably more Europlatus. Like the Strophs are up there. Like definitely some of those Strophers would be definitely on the list. But nothing crazy. I mean, some of those New Zealand species are pretty wild.
That
But
orange one was crazy.
there's some wild shit. Yeah, there's some shit over there that blows my mind. But like, yeah, probably something like that. I'd probably just
one more.
keep the same shit I'm keeping now
What
too. Like, who knows? Like,
I just
do you
have more. That's all.
yeah, I would just have like a lot less worries.
Oh
think?
hell yeah.
Underrated species of gecko that we keep over here in the United States?
It's an underrated.
Yeah, what do you think is the most underrated species? Like, what should be more popular? What is out there that people are just not paying attention to? That
Definitely, I think the chameleon geckos, like
yeah,
the VRDs. I haven't kept any of the other species, but they're awesome too, man. They don't hide either. Like they're always out. They're like the Strophs. They're just like on a branch and like they're always moving around. Like they're just cool colors. Like they're slow. So like even if you take one out, like they're not running around. Like they're chilling. So it's not like you gotta
Have you
chase
ever
it
had one
across the
sprayed?
room. No, mine are chill. They
Yeah.
don't. The female chirps at me sometimes when I spook her when I feed her or whatever. But like I've never gotten sprayed.
that's awesome.
Well, knock on wood anyway. Well, hopefully I continue that streak.
Yeah. But I've been sprayed once by a little hatchling that came straight out the egg. Yeah, that one decided to kind of spray me. I just had my hand out, so he just hit the hand. I just smelled him like, oh,
Ooh,
ew, you did
yeah, I'm
spray
sure
me.
it looks
Oh,
it looks gnarly. Like it definitely doesn't
yeah,
look pleasant. Like all spider
no,
web looking shit. Mm.
that shit stank. I was like, man, no wonder people don't know.
Can you see little pores on their tails, Jay? Can you, if you look at a tail, can you see where it comes
Yeah,
out
you
of?
can see. Yeah, you can see like for my intermedius, you can see all the little bumps on the back of the tail where it comes out. But like I said, they don't spray at all. Like I said, I just had that one that I just freaked out when I opened the cup up to take him out, go put him in his 32-ounce cup. So kind of freaked out and just tried to spray me, but after that, he was
I wonder what
fine.
they make it from. Like, what it is their body produce to make that stuff? You know, is it
Oh,
something
I'm
that comes
sure I can find out.
with it, or
Yeah,
just?
Yeah,
I'm sure I can find out.
it's
I'm
real weird because like it's them and the Urodactylodes. They're the only geckos that do that. And like they're
Yeah,
not really that close, you know. Like it's
so we were talking about that last podcast. At some point,
yeah,
you have two geckos that do that something that similar. You can't tell me that they aren't closely related. They got to be in the same kind of genus.
yeah, it's like
To
that Gondwana, whatever continent, the supercontinent or whatever. They're all kind of some ancestors on there somewhere, you know. Like,
oh,
that
yeah,
shit, I love
cool.
that stuff. It's so
But they held onto it though. You know? Again, all species of geckos probably came from one original species. That not, some developed these certain things and some didn't. I just think it's super interesting that those two species held on to that defense
yeah, which
mechanism
is
where
cool. It's like it could have
others,
happened at totally different times too. Like it could have been like the Strophers evolved it first, and
yeah,
like the
true.
Uris did it like a million years later, or vice versa. Like you never know. That's shit.
yeah.
That's what it's about, man. That's all the
Yeah,
cool shit.
I see a lot of people like study with the knolls and stuff, and I feel like geckos, man. More scientists out there trying to figure out, or at least studying the evolution of geckos. And
Oh
I mean,
yeah,
there's
there's a
much
lot.
known. There's so much unknown that it just I'll never have enough. I'll never be fully satisfied with the knowledge that I have with geckos, man.
Yeah, man.
I,
It's science. It never stops. Like
and we're
Always
part
keep
of
evolving.
yeah,
everything
man.
that we observe, everything we see, everything it's ultimately contributing to the general knowledge of these species, man. It's one of the reasons I keep them. I watch these things like you were saying earlier, man. Like the CIA, man. I'm in there like they're like I got 100 teenagers, man. I know what I want to know. I'm in all their business.
Uh-huh.
All I
Yeah,
study
what's going on in there?
there with the flashlight all night looking.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm watching the lizards,
I'm
man.
really like contemplating buying night vision goggles, like no joke.
Watch
Like just like
out
I'm thinking
for
about it because like I don't want to bother them with the fucking light. I want to see what's going on,
Yeah.
hell
You
yeah.
ever thought about getting some of those VidTech cameras, put them in there?
I was thinking about it too. Yeah, like just see like because I hear them. If I'm up in the room at night and they're bouncing around, like I hear them.
Yeah.
So like they're definitely it would be cool to see what they're doing, especially for like egg laying. If you see one like all right, something's gonna lay, you put the camera in there and just check so you know where it's at. You don't have to rip
Yeah,
apart the whole tank.
yeah, that's smart. So,
That would be
any
the
of
idea.
your do any of your you said the Scorpion Tail Geckos weren't making any noise. What do any of the other ones make noise? Do they chirp or even like the
Uh, the
Capotes or
the
anything?
the
Million gecko.
gargoyles definitely I've heard them chirp and the Uris, but other than that, nothing else really makes noise. Yeah, the Cofotis, I don't even know if they can. Like, but they
No, because
don't
I always feel
like nothing scares them. Like they come right up to you, man. Like they're just like, what's up? They're just super curious. Like
yeah,
nothing bothers them. They're awesome,
their scales are so cool.
dude. Oh yeah, it's wild looking. Yeah, it's so cool.
It's like it's almost like the scales are coming off them. It's
Yeah, and then
ridiculous. I
like
don't
different
know.
times of day, they're different colors. Like they fire up and
Yeah,
fire down like constantly. Like they're
Cool.
that's
changing
cool.
colors all day. Yeah,
What are
it's
the
hard. You can
colors?
never. I can't get a good picture of it. Like it never looks good. Like even like the good pictures, like they don't look like that in real life. Like it's always
Yeah.
it'll be like greenish.
What
The
are the colors?
the female's more like grayish, greenish,
Okay.
like teal. She'll go
Mhm.
anywhere from like lime green to grayish blue, kind of. And then the male is more like just green and white, and like a tealish. And then
Okay.
sometimes he'll be brown. Like you'll never like it's yeah, it's they change color a lot.
It's cool.
You think that's anything to do with like light exposure or
It could be. Usually when he's the male, I notice if he's like in the understory of the tank, he's usually a grayer, like a more brownish. Maybe it's a camouflage thing, or it could be like a basking. Because usually when he basks from the UV, he's like all full fired up.
Yeah, because I was just watching something. I was watching the deadliest snakes of the world, and I think it was one of the taipans, right? That they pretty much fire up and down depending on the weather. So if the sun's out really like big time, they fire like get pretty light, so or no, gets really dark, so the sun doesn't go through and beat them down. And then when the sun's not as hot, they're changed to a lighter color to absorb that heat, or vice versa.
Right.
One
Yeah,
of the
it's
two.
like Hog Island boas. They do the same thing. They're like different colors throughout the day and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah, reptiles, man, they're crazy.
Cool shit. Fucking cool shit,
Yeah,
man.
yeah. I've been going down this reptile documentary hole. Like I sent Ant that documentary on, or the little science experiment or whatever, on anoles. Just literally, it's the same anole as over in Puerto Rico. So
Oh,
they found,
I've seen that. There's a documentary on Netflix about it, like or
yeah, it's,
Paramount. I think it was on Paramount. Yeah.
yeah, I think so. It's where they showed like the gecko, or not the gecko, the anole from the forest, and then the anole that lives in the urban community. Saying like these ones, like urban community ones, are actually bigger than the ones that are in the forest. They move faster. They're better hunters. They just evolved to like to live in the urban settings. It was crazy, and they're like they're
Yeah, it's
same exact.
fascinating.
No, it's crazy,
Yep.
man.
Cool
It's
shit.
evolution,
Real cool
right?
shit.
Yeah. All right. So I think I'm about to call this one. I said, any final
Awesome.
words, Chris?
Thanks for having me on, guys. I had a great time. Always down to chat, chat geckos
Oh
and reptiles and shit, man.
About some
yeah,
of your other
yeah.
What's
highlights
that?
from.
Yeah, dude. Anytime, man.
Hell yeah.
That.
You start dropping some Capote babies, you getting right back on it. You know that, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Capote,
I got a lot of
Etymology.
shit I'm working with. This next year should be interesting. So hopefully we'll see what
That's
Yeah,
awesome,
good
happens.
luck on that, man.
man. Teach us.
Thanks.
We'll get you on. Teach, show everybody. Oh, it's
Yeah, I gotta teach my fucking self first, but yeah, you know, man.
love to learn.
That's what's up.
Love to
Yeah,
watch
yeah.
you
Hell yeah, man.